Hello everyone, I'm Voronezh and I'm reviewing here Death Train Samara Voronezh for PC. So the game came out today. It's developed by Micha and published by Oashiro.dev. So this visual novel, it's with Happy that it uses, but it looks interesting. Like the trailer is well done, the trailer on Steam page, so and the animations and everything. So let us see. There's bears. Snow fell steadily along the narrow alleys of the city zoo. The cameras were broken, the curved bars of the enclosure were crinkled like paper in a child's palm. Near the cage, where yesterday two-haired white pangolins were still snoring peacefully, there was now an empty ball lying lonely. The next morning, police arrived at the London Zoo. The photographer's thick fingers clicked the camera shutters, flashed illuminated face with the same tired expressions. Oh shit, pangolins. This is the third time in a year that rare animals are disappearing, and each time under the nose of British detectives with high-profile titles. Newspapers are full of headlines, and people in uniforms are still throwing up their hands. Same style, no trace, no cameras, no evidence. Next morning, central office. Behind a high door with a frosted glass, a report was attached to a top-secret folder. The last flight out of Heathrow was a private jet 2 hours after the abduction. An airplane registered to a fake corporation has already arrived in Russia. You know what that means, Mikhail? Among the British agents there was not a single one who could be blended in the Russian realities, too far from their usual reality. Therefore, the dossier went further, to the International Department, to the archives of old personnel. Oh shit! The bears! It was then that they remembered their own most promising undercover agent. The walls of Belmarsh are waiting for this couple, sir. And since I had this honor, I will deliver them there. Although, he put the folder down and looked to the side with some skepticism. Why do I need this partner? At the Samara railway station, the summer sun was warmer than ever. Is this meaning like sweat? Very cool. People waiting for their trains found themselves hid in the shade. Another part of the crowd crowded around stalls with bottled water and ice cream at absurd price. Two tall men in suits were also waiting for their train. One of them stood under an awning, the other one sat on a bench next to it despite the heat. He was sweating, but as if he didn't feel any discomfort at all, he played some games on his phone. On the screen, an half-naked woman ran forward, shooting zombies. She went into the port and more women appeared. Looks not that complicated, but the young man time and again shot at the wrong barrels and caused crashing into them. Ah shit, the hell is wrong with it? Kesha, it's a scam. They give you more odds than the game itself. The man in rectangular glass looked around and carefully leaned towards his angry companion. Tops, you stupid arsehole, can you be a bit more serious on the mission? Whoa! Tops was about to shout, but lowered his voice. You are the stupid one. Mission, that's it. No more of your mission. Here, we have the case. With his free hand, he lifted the suitcase lying on the bench next to him. It's not over until you get the money back to Voronezh. You are such a bore. Tops waved his hand and defiantly put the phone in his pocket. He began to twitch his leg irritably, looking around. Not even a minute later, however, his hand reached for his smartphone once again. Tops, what? I have a request. I need to go to the toilet. Can you take your mind off it and actually keep an eye on the case? Yeah. Oh fuck, don't tell me that the case is gonna be stolen or like mistakenly traded. What are you mumbling about? I can hear you. Did you get the brochures? As luck will have it, it was the two animators in polar bear costumes who were hanging around next to me at the half-empty station. Perry Malinka, up. The idiotic song from the tape recorder was really getting on my nerves. The bears were congratulating the confused birthday girl. She looked around frantically, shook her head and stepped back. I think she was trying to tell them that they mistook the target for a surprise. I also tried to escape from their annoying presence by holding the phone tightly to my ear. It's very loud here, Roman Genadievic. Excuse me, Yes, brochures? Yes, I took them. Yes, Oh great, so are you already at the station? Yes boss, the train should arrive soon. So listen to me again, Daniela. Olia will be waiting for you upon arrival at the Voronezh station. All you need to do is, don't let go of the case while you're driving. If you don't trust your butterfingers, strap it to your balls. but make sure the case gets to Voronezh safe and sound. No fucking around, no excuse, got it? Sure, of course, Roman Gennadievic. I won't let you down, but you got it a bit wrong. Ha, actually my name is Dennis, not Daniel. Boss, hello? Before I could finish, I heard beeps. It was a bit rude of him to disconnect like that, but Roman Gennadievic is a busy man, that's for certain. After all, I have only been working the company for about 10 years and I'm not very rich in sales. It would be strange to expect a different attitude. As soon as I thought about it, the image of Olia immediately appeared in my head. The CEO, ever buzzy favorite, a leopard print, revealing dress with cleavage, large firm breasts and sharp sunglasses. She joined our company only a year ago, but has already overtaken everyone in sales and become the chief manager. Honestly, I'm extremely jealous. This girl is typically younger and I have to carry case around cities. Well, what can you do about it? Maybe she shows more diligence in her work? Sure. Pondering on the secret of Olia's success, I sat down on the bench. Because this our character. So, probably because he has a case he's gonna trade with that guy. Gah, I hate these doors. Why are they so narrow? It's impossible to get through. I stood up reflexively. The phrase dropped behind me, my heart beat wildly. Did I just hear that right? He said doors? I turned around and saw a tall young man in a decent suit on a nearby bench. Who was he talking to? His suppliers? Real estate agency? I couldn't see the screen on his smartphone in sunlight. He doesn't seem to like narrow doors. But we just have wide ones. We also make interior doors to order for any size. Sweet patent shoes, gold watch on his hand. I immediately realized this guy had money. I nervously gulped. These are exactly the kind of people who need our high quality doors. This was definitely my fattest customer of all time, and it will be a huge mistake to miss him. Wait, we sell doors? What? Sir, good afternoon. Don't take it as a rude, but I accidentally heard your problem. The problem with narrow doors? No, rather the problem is that your doors are narrow. Huh? What? Am I the one with the problem? The man looked up, his angry look immediately sent shivers down my spine. No, what are you talking about? No problem, I just want to say that you have narrow, very narrow doors. What did you say? Are you implying that I'm stupid? Like I'm narrow-minded? Like I'm an idiot? Huh? Is that what you're implying, asshole? The man stood up abruptly, the veins on his forehead swelled, his face reddened with rage. I immediately backed away. No, what are you talking about? What are you saying? I didn't mean it that way. Moreover, I think you are a very smart young man. Yes, exactly, I can see it in my eyes. Huh? Really? Hearing the praise, the man was surprised and calmed down a bit, then sat back down on the bench. Well, yes, my mother told me so too. Here you go, with trembling hands I began to open the case with the brochures, but I still didn't want to give in. Then I remembered that one booklet I had to be lying in my inner pocket. Ah, here it is, there you go. Huh? What the hell is this? Well, is it obvious? Brochure. I realized it was a brochure, you moron. What the hell do I need it for? Oh, so, of course, the doors. Doors? For some reason, the man's face turned purple again and his eyebrows shrank questioningly. Yeah, we sell doors, wooden and iron, wide and narrow, interior and entrance. What the hell should I care about your doors? I have a fucking door myself, the whole apartment is full of doors for every room, fucker. How can you live without a door, you donkey? It's installed right away, otherwise it will be just a hole in the wall. Gloomy thought flashed through my head, my legs immediately pulled away. While backing away, I almost forgot the case that I left lying on the bench. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that was stupid of me, haha. You do look like a stupid hairhead, fucking idiot. Here, take your paper and get out of my sight before I smash your head into pieces. So probably now is when he trades the suitcase. Oh shit, the bears. And who is that? You know him? A short, stubby man in glass approached the Voronezh gangster they had been tracking for a long time. He looked completely inconspicuous and did not cause my any concern. Nope, I don't know. Probably just a civilian. The first time I entered the restroom, there are no witnesses nearby, ready for elimination. The transmitter received information from one of their people. Here at the station there were now many bandits of the Samara group. They all merged with the crowd and waited for their exit. Wait for instructions. Attention everyone. An unidentified person contacts target you, presumably a civilian. Everyone stay where you are. What is he telling him? The bartender nearby kept going on and on. Can't really make it out. I think he's trying to sell something. Hey, will you look at that? He has the same case. Did he just put it on the bench? A slight shiver ran down the bear's back. A sense of deja vu swept over him. I have a bad feeling about this. Tension is building in the air. The ridiculous man in the cheap office suit still wasn't moving away from the target. Apparently a verbal altercation ensued. Polar, time is running out, what do we do? We wait. Some of his plankton messed up the group's plan, and now all they had to do was to wait for the witness to leave. Acting now will be a foolish and rash thing to do. The Voronezh bandit suddenly stood up from his seat and began shouting something. The mysterious stranger backed away, but before he left he reached for the bench. Hey, what case did he take? Which one? He took our case. He took the case with money. Another shocked cry from one of the observers was heard from the headset. It was followed by the following. The first target comes out of the restroom. Attention, the first target is coming out of the restroom. There are no witnesses nearby. Ready for elimination. I'm waiting for instructions. Sweat flowed from the bear in a stream. It was necessary to act, but it was impossible to attack them so easily now. They can't take down the first target without eliminating the second. However, they have already missed their chance to kill the second target. As the train pulled up, a lot of people crowded along the tracks. Is there any point now in eliminating those suckers when in the case the group needed was already in possession of an unauthorized person? He's heading to the train. Polar, what do we do? Polar, what can they do? The new target is already merged with the crowd on the platform. Eliminating it or quietly grabbing the case seemed like an impossible mission. Abort! Mission abort! I repeat, abort the mission. Are you sure we can still eliminate them all? No, too many witnesses. The Samara group could only watch as a suitcase with their money was carried onto the train by an unfamiliar man. The partner kicked the garbage lying on the asphalt in frustration. The polar bear's hand clenched into a fist from impotent anger. Do you think it was an accident? Did the civilian mix up the case? No. He shook his head and with a look full of hatred stared at the top of an office worker's head. Have you heard of Sleepy Joe? Huh? Isn't this the same Joe who intercepted our cargo in Novorossiysk? Yeah, but that's not all. Moscow, St. Petersburg and Kazan groups are also reporting deceptions. Sleepy Joe specializes in this sort of thing. He thinks he's the Robin Hood of modern crime. Look like he has whistleblowers everywhere. He knows what his targets do and their every move. Nobody saw him, but the signature of this pass has always been case substitution. Huh? You mean to tell me that? Goosebumps covered the man's sweaty body again, but now it wasn't goosebumps of fear or despair. No, not at all. Those were goosebumps of anticipation of the imminent reckoning. Yes, I think we finally unmasked our Robin Hood, and today we will finish off 2 birds with 1 stone. Moving to plan B, call Misha. Tell him to head to the Saratov station. Oh, so they think we are that guy? I don't think we are, right? I think it was like a mistake only. I should have turned around and told him, no, I'm not an airhead, I have law degree. Yes, then you'll understand who he's dealing with. Why do I constantly forget to take obvious steps under pressure? While I was looking for the number of my seat in the reserved seat carriage, the unpleasant situation with the man on the street still haunted me. Why did it have to be like this? Well, it's always been like that for me. Finally, the desired number was in sight. It was a low berth in the 4-seater passenger compartment. A good-natured old man was sitting in front of me. Kinda hot today, don't you think? Yeah, I would like to buy some ice cream, but I have an ulcer. Where are you going? If it's not a secret to everybody. Also, to Voronezh? Oh, what a coincidence. Tirelessly, he rambled about everything, rustled to the foil, looked out and put more and more supplies on the table from his bottomless bag. Oh, help yourself, young man. Come on, don't be shy. Above him on the bed lay a young girl of about 18 wearing headphones. Her long dark hair fell down slightly and emanated a pleasant aroma of woman's perfume. Once in my place I immediately greeted her friendly, but the girl ignored my greeting. From above me some unshaven middle-aged man was already snoring peacefully. As I walked down the hall or put my things away, his stinky feet with holy black socks somehow kept getting in my face. So we set off. Outside the window, train cars, familiar buildings and lush summer greenery changed each other. A pretty middle-aged conductor approached us, smiling widely. She asked for our documents for verification. The old man immediately turned his attention. He looked into her eyes carefully, choked awkwardly and winked. She didn't seem to mind either and flirtatiously answered him back. Saratov, girl, you got the next one, don't miss it, we'll be there before you know it. I know. The girl from the top shelf answered without much enthusiasm and put on her headphones again. Oh, and I was on Saratov for work, always on the road, you know. It's a nice city, it seemed a little deserted to me, but not like Voronezh. Not that much, haha. Voronezh is almost like one big desert, you know, haha. Silence. No one seemed to get my joke, perhaps they simply were not in Voronezh. What do you mean Saratov is next? Isn't it a bit too far for the first stop? Oh, so you don't know? Our train is fast and modern. It doesn't eat a lot of fuel, doesn't require maintenance. In general, we are working according to a new schedule. Saratov will be the only stop before Voronezh. Now we don't stop in small towns like Sizhan or Kominsk. It turns out to be unprofitable, and who needs them anyway? What kind of funny town is that Kominsk? From the word come or what? Hahaha. The old man almost choked on his tea at our conductor's word. The peeled egg in his senile hand trembled slightly, as did his forced smile. Dear, you are probably confused with Kamensk. This is a small but beautiful town named after the Soviet revolutionary Mikhail Ivanovich Kamen. He began to explain something to the awkward conductor, but she just clicked poorly. Nope, I believe it's from Kam. I work on this train, I know better. Those words, she was trying to flirt with us, probably. Mr. Zhu? He? The four-eyed? This bald little wimp? Mr. Zhu? Shut it, you moron. The train has just started. Cash and Tops were on tenterhooks in the four-seater compartment they bought. The sliding door was closed, but Tops screamed so hard that the neighbors probably heard everything. Just 10 minutes ago, they were both in high spirits. The young criminals had managed to board the train without trouble and thrill. Then the friends relaxed. Cash leaned back in his lower berth with the fresh newspaper he had bought, and Tops at the folding table devoured the ice cream he obtained by unknown means. The piece continued until Cash decided to check the contents of their case. Cash, why? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Tops lowered his voice slightly. That's because you are dumb bass dear, Tops. You always are, always. Get us in some kind of trouble. I only ask you for one thing. Keep an eye on the case with money. What the hell, huh? Why the hell are there fucking brochures in the case? Cash held onto the damn suitcase with both hands and could barely keep himself from screaming. It seemed that he was now at his limit, which seriously frightened Tops. I don't know. He came over and advertised me door, so I told him to go to hell. Maybe he, I don't know, quickly swap it somehow? Yeah, it's right. I got distracted for a second. Bang! Cash hit the table, but immediately straightened it up, looking around, reflected and exhaled deeply. Admit already that you didn't even look at it. You played stupid games on your stupid phone. Hey, why are they stupid? They are not stupid. Cash didn't have energy to argue with Tops about anything. He always felt like an older brother in his company, and he didn't like it. Putting his glasses aside and bending over the table, he massaged his temples with his fingers. Tops often glanced at his partner. He was uneasy, but he didn't dare to do anything by himself after such a failure. Cash, who is this Mr. Zhu? Like, of course I heard that he's a legend and all that, but what exactly did he do to everyone is so high about him? The right question will be what they did. Mr. Zhu never acted alone. Kasia took a deep breath and stared wistfully out of the window. Back in the 90s, a couple of Russian abductors were running rampant in England. They specialized primarily in zoos and nature reserves, and more specifically in rare animals. King of Zoo, that's what they call this guy. He was a legend in criminal circles. He was unrivaled in an animal stealing. The professionalism and calculation with which he approached his affairs, the stealth with which he constantly left unnoticed. Yes, he was flawless, but would he have been so perfect without his partner? No, absolutely not. Venom Queen has always been in shadows. She put the guards to sleep and poisoned everyone who dared to stand in their way. Either from nerves or the heat, Cash's throat tightened. He paused for a moment, unbuttoned the top button of his shirt and continued. But their impunity couldn't last forever. The British Secret Service uncovered them. Then the couple barely managed to sneak back to their homeland. Here they are not so open, but still continue their business, and they began to call them, of course, differently. Mr. Zhu and Miss Van. So he has a partner? Wait, is she on this train too? Yeah, probably. The informant told about her too, but wasn't certainly sure. Cash, I'll go. I'll find him. I'll find this bastard. I remember what he looks like. He stood in line for this train. I saw... A knock sounded, and immediately the compartment door opened. A smiling conductor stood outside. At that moment, Tops was already running out and almost collided with her. ID check, boys. The guy rushed to the bag with irritation and began rummaging through it. Then he seemed to remember. From under his shirt, he took out his passport, hanging on a rope around his neck. Seeing such an embarrassing picture, the conductor even let a giggle in her hand. Tops hurriedly shoved her his ID and went outside, but before he left, he turned to his partner. Hey Kesha, I'll go to the toilet. to the one to the right. You go to the one on the left if you want. I'll be gone for a while, got it? Without waiting for a reply, Tops rushed along the corridor to the left. He often confused these sides, but Cash wasn't long angry with him. Tops was a fool, but in desperate situations he always came up with unconventional solutions. Determination in the eyes of a part added to Cash's confidence in himself. Would you like some tea? The conductor had already finished with the documents and handed them in the guy's hands. Oh, no thanks. I would like some water if it's possible. Ah, sure. She reached for the food cart, took a decanter and poured cold water into a cut glass. Cash greedily took a sip, a pleasant refreshing feeling cheered him up. Probably she's a Miss fan. Probably. Be very careful, Toops. Imagine if the conductress is Miss Van. Oh no, I have never been abroad. And why do I even need these foreign countries when we have such a huge and beautiful country? Ho ho ho! The elderly neighbor rambled non-stop. At first I was interested in talking to him, but after a while I got tired of talking about nothing. I just started to pretend that I could keep up with his train of thought. The phone vibrated in my pocket. I never thought I'll be so happy to get a call from someone. Oh, sorry, I have a phone call. Yes, hello? Did you get on the train? Do you have brochures? A familiar voice from a colleague sounded from the phone. Perhaps I was a little too quick to rejoice. The conversation with Geezer didn't seem so tedious now. From work, I whispered to my neighbor with a tense smile. He nodded understandingly. Yes, Alia. It's great to hear from you too. There was a short pause. I think I heard the girl exhale irritably. Dima, don't waste my time. Answer the question. Of course, I'm already on the train and a case with brochures too. But my name is not Dima, actually. I'm Danish. Yeah, whatever. Check your case, send me the picture of the brochures and we'll finish with it. Okay. Oh god, now he's gonna see the money. I reached for my case and began to move the clasp away with my fingers. It seemed that this time it was much more difficult to give in. Finally the case opened, but I saw something inside that I didn't expect at all. Hey, did you fall asleep? Hello? The voice of the irritated girl could still be heard from the phone, but I didn't listen to her at all. My case, my old case, that I only transferred brochures its entire lifespan, was now stuffed to the brim with cash. Money, dollars, the entire contents were stuffed with large bills. I couldn't believe my eyes, my jaw dropped down and couldn't come up. Yes, everything is in place. Without hesitation, I hung up and set the phone on silent mode. Conductor came up to us again and urged an old man who was already falling asleep into his shoulder. Mister, you asked for a reminder when lunchtime will come. So here it is, in 20 minutes, right after our stop in Saratov. Oh, thank you, honey. Alright, I've been talking too much, I'll go take some pills. At my age, everything's already on a tight schedule. I waved to my neighbor, but immediately realized that there were a lot of people around me now. Out of fear, I sharply closed the case and looked around. Money, lots of money. I muttered to myself without stopping and clutched the suitcase to my chest with crazy eyes. But how? How did this fortune end up in my case? I looked at it carefully, twirled around and examined it from all sides. Not mine. No, this is not my suitcase, not mine. Along with the trembling in my body came a realization. I remember a very recent incident at the station. That guy, Jesus, I took his case. Some fellow travelers turned to me with displeasure and concern. I had to cover my mouth with my hands. Thoughts couldn't stay inside my head. Now and then they tried to come out. It's probably worth giving it back, right? That will be right. Danish, you have always done the right things in your life. You'll never steal others people's money, right? Hell no! When did you do the right thing? An unfamiliar dark voice suddenly whispered in my head. When you got the law degree and couldn't find a job with it, when you got a job as a manager, when you work hard for more than 10 years and you give nothing, you will take this money, you will take them, you need them more than anyone else. This guy's young, you'll earn more. Yeah, sad things happen in life, but what else can you do? The train is gone, as they say, and even if I wanted to return the poor man's case, I just can't do it. Open the door, asshole. To whom I tell, I'll fucking knock her out right now. And at this very moment, as soon as I had settled my conscience, I heard a familiar and unwelcome shot from the hall. Almost without breathing, I peeked my hand into the corridor. Everything inside me fell down. Through the glass window behind the iron door, I saw that same fierce guy. He kicked the toilet door. All those who tried to stop him were already lying on the ground, but most of them kept quiet on the sidelines. My head quickly retreated to the compartment. Well, I guess that's it. The problem was solved. I'll just give him the suitcase. Dickhead, he'll fucking kill you. My brain is spinning. My eyes started around in search of at least some chance of salvation. I could go in the opposite direction from him right now with the case. And what next? I won't be able to hide in the toilet. There are not many carriages ahead, 2, maybe 3. And I'll stop at the cockpit. I'll fall into a trap like a rabbit driven into a corner. I will wait for my inevitable doom. The door of the vestibule opened with a clatter. A crying woman dropping her toiletries ran out into the corridor. Following her in silence that was a dead by the standards of the carriage, someone measured and confident steps moved. I wonder how such a young man managed to earn so much by his age. Idiot! He didn't earn anything, don't you see? He's a real thug. And he will kill you. He will shoot you on spot. I must report, he will take the money. He will take your money, once you've earned what was given to you by God himself, from somewhere above. No, this can't happen. The steps were getting closer, I couldn't wrap my head around it, but both neighbors didn't feel any danger at all. The girl shaking her legs, laying on her stomach, listening to music with headphones and messages with someone on her phone. The man still snarled heavily over me. Luggage, right. I don't have any luggage, which means it should be free under my bed space. I can hide there. I have to fit in there, I must. My hands reached to open the luggage compartment. Yeah, might be a little tight, but... Fool! What asshole could possibly fill my entire luggage compartment with watermelons? I looked up. Upper neighbor's compartment, once right above his bed, was empty. Mister, is this yours? Are you sleeping? The neighbors didn't care about such little things at all. Shaking only caused him to turn on his other side and snore even louder. A wave of hatred surged over me along with an overwhelming sense of hopelessness. The old man's luggage compartment was also occupied and the guy's footsteps were already heard 3 or 4 meters from our room. I looked attentively out of the window of the corridor and saw its silhouette emanating danger. A violent shiver ran through my body. My hands grasped the man's watermelon, but I immediately put them back and closed the compartment. Instead, I wrapped myself in the blanket and threw the case into the man's bed, and with the dexterity of a monkey, I literally flew up. At the very last moment, just as the bandit approached our room, I climbed in and fell silent into the upper luggage compartment. In a hurry, I tried to cover my entire body with a blanket, but part of my leg was still not covered. Will you notice? No. Please don't. I can't move. I can only hope the guy was not too eagle-eyed. Every breathing sounded very close. The perp stood at our place. Stop! Oh my god, why did he stop? I wish I could take a look. At least take a second look at what he's doing and where he's looking. There was a rumbling from below. I twitched involuntarily, pressing myself even tighter into the iron base of the luggage compartment. The guy lifted both lower batons. I immediately lowered them, and he moved on. My body still continued to tremble. I just couldn't believe my luck. I exhaled deeply and pulled the blanket from my face, on which a dull smile froze, and I noticed someone's heavy gaze on me. The phone was frozen near the girl's ear, and her gaze full of disgust and bewilderment was directed at me. Yes, in 50 minutes, we are already approaching. I wish it would be sooner, there are only weirdos on the train. Blushing and laughing awkwardly, I took the case from the top shelf and went down. I need to get off at Nucky Stop, and I need to go out unnoticed. But how do I do it? Where can I hide my case, and how can I hide myself? My head was torn by many ideas, but they were all worthless. Time is running out, and this fact itself only depressed me more. The idea came suddenly. Out of the blue, it came down on top of me. Bag. Yeah, I packed it, of course. I barely could fit all the stuff in. The Samara Voronezh faster arrives on the third track of the second platform. How could you miss him? Tops, are you sure you had a good look around? Yes, I examined it. How many times should I say that? I even checked every shitter. Okay, alright, there's no time for this. He's still on train, which means he'll get off. He will almost certainly leave in Saratov. He has nowhere to go. I know, I'm already at the front exit. Are you standing there from the tail? Kesha? Yeah, I'm standing at the exit too. I don't feel well. It seems the weather is tiresome for me. Over, came from Top's phone. Suddenly he became worried about his partner. The doors opened and the guy immediately flew out. Tops was quite tall, which helped him to see almost the entire platform with his gaze. Time passed and tension grew. Tops tried not to miss a single detail. He looked at everyone who came out, glared on every man with a case. The fast train is departing. The woman's voice sounded again from the loudspeaker. He really hoped that he had not missed his call, and was very afraid of it. Almost without looking at the screen, the man dialed a familiar phone number. What do you have? Do you find him? Instantly, the tense voice of his part was heard on the other end of the line. Nah, are you empty too? Maybe decided not to go out at all, huh? Or you found another way to escape? The train hissed, the last punch had already entered, and the new automatic staircase began to rise after them. The wheels began to hum, and the train slowly began to move. Citing in frustration, Tops was about to release the emergency exit button when suddenly a girl flew out of the train at full speed. The girl in whose hands was Black Case. What the hell? Kesha, do you see these two? She has the case in her hands, the same as ours. The train was picking up speed and every second counted. It was urgent to decide what to do next, but Kesha was silent. He hesitated. Tops knew that even though Kesha was a smart guy, he couldn't be relying on in an emergency. His part always lacked courage, he lacked determination, and that is how Tops was different from him. Ah, fuck it. There's no turning back. The guy grouped up in the air and landed on the platform. Without wasting a sec, he headed towards his target. Hey, Kesha, is this Mr. Zhu by any chance interested in cross-dressing? If so, he's kinda good at it. Miss Van. Huh? What? Tops, be careful. She may be his partner. Samara, Voronezh, arrives on the third track of the second platform. The paranoia isn't letting me go. With both hands I held the second suitcase stolen today. My head was covered with a summer hat, and I threw away my jacket somewhere along the way. The door to the vestibule between two mostly empty carriages was closed by me from the inside. Rare passengers sometimes tried to enter, but soon gave up and walked in the opposite direction. The exhaust of steam was heard and the train stopped, the electric hum of sliding staircase and the noise of the crowd. I clutched my precious luggage and even tied to my chest. I was going to leave as soon as possible. But something haunted me. There was something wrong with the general noise of the people outside. With every passing second it faded away more and more noticeable. Out of the corner of my eye I noticed through the door how people outside were dispersing in all directions. Instead of human conversation, a different sound came, a familiar melody. For a long time it was already playing outside, but for some reason I stubbornly did not want to notice. But now, with no one else around, it sounded especially clear. The bear. Berry Malinka. This is a nightmare. I barely got off the train. In the last seconds, you hear me? My bag, a man stole it here. I'm telling you, he's weird, fucking madman. How my things were scattered around the cabin. I almost lost my mind. I will never take this train again. Got it, never. Breathing heavily, Masha walked forward and complained to her boyfriend on the phone. In her hand, she held an unfamiliar case. In the middle of her belongings, she found it open and empty inside the reserved seat. Without hesitation, the girl gathered everything inside the case and ran out with it. Babe, don't cry. Everything is fine. I'll buy you a new one. I'm standing at the bus stop, red Audi, remember? Yeah. Out of the corner of her eye, Masha noticed someone's silhouette in the distance. She looked back and saw a tall guy in a suit in the middle of the deserted platform. He moved quickly and there was some kind of rage in his movements. His gaze seemed to be directed at her. Hey, maybe you can meet me? I can't, babe. You know, my whip is very mean. The girl quickened her step. She looked back again. It seemed to her that the man also increased his pace. Her body trembled and head was filled with bad thoughts. Come closer, please. I'll come over now. Masha tucked the phone into her pocket and switched to a light shock. Her blood is boiling inside, nerves were on edge. The girl was afraid to look back, but she already heard how the man paced after it became faster. There could be no doubt, the man was definitely chasing her. The steps were quick and wide, confident. With each second, he got closer and closer to his victim. The girl's gaze glided through the parking lot in horror. They were looking for the desired head color. 777! A red Audi, here it is. The familiar car is inside. With her back, Masha could already feel the heavy breathing of her pursuer. This was the last chance, all or nothing. The girl rushed forward, with all her might, ignoring everything. She rushed through the rows of cars. The man behind rushed after her. Like a rabid dog that smelled fear, in an instant he accelerated to inhuman speed. Hey, baby, come on, you can do it! Run! Go! Huh? What? Bang! A crazy man in a suitcase crashed into the car door. He immediately tries to open the door, but Masha managed to close it. Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck? Sunshine, I beg you, floor it, come on. I'm flooring. Fuck, what the shit? The car pulled forward and drove onto the road. The bullets whistled a centimeter from the head. Masha squeezed into the seat to dodge one of them. There weren't many shots, but it seemed like the entire cabin was real. The glass flew out, the fluff from the seats and the blast rose into the air. Ah! Thank God, Masha wasn't injured, but someone's blood has already covered the dashboard with bright spots. My God, baby, are you alright? My hand, fuck, this freak shot me in the hand. What the hell is this cycle? Lord, my car! Masha carefully looked back. Through the broken glass, she saw her pursuer throw the taxi driver out of the car. I'm not a Sleepy Joe, you are confusing me with someone. The speed of the train was picking up, huddled in the corner of the cramped vestibule. I repeated the same words to the bear over and over again. Like a giant, he hung over me and looked at me in the face with his frightened black button eyes. And I don't know any zoo, really. I already gave you the money, they are in a suitcase. What else do you need from me? Ah! With all his weight, he stepped on my kneecap. With your unbearable pain, the leg arced in another direction. There's no need to suffer like that, Joe. I know everything about you. I know why you are here, and you have been trucking. You were going to steal a bag of money from a couple of greasers, who were supposed to take it from Voronezh bandits. But luck came your way. Case almost fell into your hands himself, isn't it? What did you put the money in the other suitcase for, I wonder? You're a real strategist. No, I really don't know anything. I really don't know. The man stopped pressing on my leg and thought, well, in that case, I don't need you, boy. He turned to his tape recorder, he opened the lid and began to take out sharp weapons. Oh, Jesus. Knives, surgical devices and various types of torture instruments. Just the sight of them made my body tremble. We are no worry, are we? Mr. Zoo won't jump out of the train while it's moving. I would like to meet him better prepared, you know. I want to surprise him. In a desperate search for salvation, my gaze glided across the hall, stopping briefly at the doors and windows. I finally got to a really important detail. Emergent door opening button. She will now say that I'm too cruel in my methods. Hey Joe, have you ever been married? No, I wasn't. Really? You know you're right. You can't marry with our profession, right? It's a shame it dawned on me too late. Time was running out. My heart beat faster and sweat flowed from me like a stream. The last device from the storage room with a distinctive ringing was placed on the floor. Well, let's get started. Now, along with the last sound, the gears in my head moved. I obeyed the command of the new dark voice. Without expecting it myself, I rushed forward and pressed the red button in the blink of an eye. The door opened and the enemy came to his sense with his hand reached towards the blade. I tried to kick the bear, but at the last moment he arched and grabbed my leg. The blade slid a centimeter from the chin. With my second foot I kicked the man's stomach and slipped out of the grip. Groped up, I rolled back and immediately looked up. A shadow fell on my face. The knife was already flying down and it was too late to dodge. I tried to bend to the right, but my hands were already unconsciously reaching for my head. Suddenly the arm with the blade froze right next to my head. She stuck. He caught the fabric on the life-saving hook on the wall. In the crumpled vestibule, there was no room for a huge bear, and this became my advantage. While he was trying to free his hand, I was already accelerating. Step and nod. The hand with the blade comes off the wall, but it's too late. With all my might, I kick the bear and it flies away from the carriage. Left, right, at full speed. Top's car was chasing a red Audi. Tops had never driven a car before, however as soon as he imagined himself as a naked woman with a machine gun and obstacles like barrels, everything became much easier. Yellow, red traffic light. Yellow, red traffic light. At the last moment the Audi managed to turn at the crossroad. Tops don't care about such little things, besides they give bonuses for downed zombies. Without slowing down, he entered the turn. The car skidded, but he managed to control it and within a minute began to catch up with his target. Tops saw his victims looking around in panic from the broken glass. They are shouting, "Help, people!" But people don't hear them. Along the way, the third traffic police car that tried to stop the bandit was lying in a ditch. The guy was so confident in himself that he didn't notice how a red car drove onto the side of the road in front of him and made a sharp turn into an alley. Ah, damn it! He didn't have time to react. What to do? Brake? Turn around? No, it wasn't top style. Without slowing down, he turned the steering wheel to the right, drove into a tow truck. It was as if on a springboard, a taxi soared into the air and flew into a panoramic window. of a shopping center. The glass shattered, people screamed and dropped to the ground. The car crashed into a wooden boat on which children were playing, and she rushed further along the shopping corridors. Passersby scattered everywhere, turning into the main corridor. The bandit pressed the gas pedal and had no intention of letting it go anymore. They had similar mulch in Voronezh. Tops knew you could get through them directly. Phew, looks like we finally lost him. Hey, how about KFC? I got a little hungry. Oh, here comes shopping. What? The sound of shattering glass echoed across the street. The couple looked out of the car with fear in their eyes. A car was flying straight at them from the second floor of the building. What the? The taxi flew straight into the Audi side. The airbags went off, the car shook and squeezed. Before Masha had time to recover from the shock, the door next to her was open. Someone forcefully pulled her out of the car. Where's the case? Where's the case, I ask you? Hey! The man continued to shake the girl by the shoulders and shout out something, but she no longer understood anything. Then he opened the back door. He took out the suitcase which Masha found empty on the train. What the hell? Inside Tubbs found only woman's things. He took a gun out of his pants and pointed it at Masha's head. Where's the money? Where's the fucking money? Answer me. I don't know. I don't understand anything, really. Don't shoot. I found this suitcase on the train. It was empty. I swear to God. Let me go. Let me go, please. The girl burst into tears. Tears and mascara flowed down her face. Tubbs lowered his gun. For the first time he felt sorry for someone, and even a little prick of guilt in the chest. What if he got it wrong? What if it's all a mistake and she's not Miss Fan? No, he couldn't believe her so easily. Kesha told him how dangerous and violent Van was. Tubbs took out the phone and clicked on the only number in his contacts. Beep and another beep. Time passed, but no one answered the phone. Is he deaf? At such moments, Tubbs needed Kesha more than ever. Yeah, he often didn't answer his partner's calls on normal days, but always picked up the phone on a mission. Something happened. Tubbs became worried for his partner. Onlookers began to crowd around. Somewhere in the distance, sirens were screaming. A roar sounded overhead. The plane flew very low and landed at the airport, which was pretty close. Tubbs came up with a new idea. We'll get to Voronezh faster. The train corridor blurs before his eyes, his legs buckle. With his last strength, Kesha reached his compartment. Damn it, what's wrong with me? Unable to stand on his feet, he falls. On all fours, clenching his teeth, he unzips his light travel bag. He takes out and drinks in one gulp a tube with sorbent prepared for such case. Unfortunately, that's all he could do. One could only hope that his body will be stronger than poison. His strength completely left him, memories swirling in the head. A glass of water and a friendly guide was the last thing he saw before he fell into a painful sleep. An old man stretching out his hands to a suitcase with brochures. Sleep, kiddo. Sleep. Oh shit. So probably that is Mr. Zoo, and the conductress is Miss Van. Samara greeted Mikhail not with a city but with a river, wide and lazy, heavy with spring water. Below near the shore, the birds screamed like mad, and a damp fog hung over the Volga. The group he was supposed to join had a strange name, North. They weren't afraid of the police and dealt with cargo that did not pass through the paperwork. Under a bar on the outskirts of the city, in an underground boxing stage, one of the fighters caught Misha's eye and offered a bet. 3 blows, 3 falls. This is how a detective found himself in the circles of a criminal structure. And then the work began, invisible and dirty, delirious guarding. In the evening she returned to a great 2-room apartment. By that time his partner Natasha had already arrived. She made strong tea and read local newspapers. Time in Samara went differently. Not fast, not slower, just calmer. The search reached a dead end. The group lived in its own life, rich but monotonous. No one mentioned the king or the queen anymore, and Misha gradually turned into a shadow of himself. He worked and waited, ate in cheap cafeterias, slept by the hour, smoked by open windows. Natasha didn't ask unnecessary questions, she just lived with him. Cleaned the fish, wrote down the numbers of cars that parked under the windows. They were partners, friends for a long time, just this. But every day the silence between them became quieter. There was no tension in him anymore. It became an affection, a space where she doesn't have to hide. One day he woke up from her palm on his back, and he didn't flinch, he just turned over and took her hand. They didn't talk about it at first, then too often, about how they would live if all this happened after the case, cold weather, after other lives. So a year passed and then second one, somewhere in the third Natasha laughed until she cried for the first time, when Misha clumsily tried to fix the socket. He stood in the holy sock, sandwiched between the refrigerator and the wall, and swore in a low voice. She laughed and couldn't stop. He laughed then too, for the first time in a long while. In the spring she confessed for the first time, not to him, to herself, that she was pregnant. She didn't say it right away, she wanted to be sure, and when she did it calmly, simply. It was like it was about the weather. Then he just came up, hugged her and pressed his cheek to her stomach. Warmth, that's all he felt. The thrill of the criminal slipped away, but it didn't matter to them anymore. Sooner or later arrived, it lay on the table for almost a week. There was nothing unusual about it, no threats, no demands. Single line, the operation suspended, proceeding is pointless, you are free to go. Free to go. Misha read these 3 times, then folded the sheet and set it on fire in the sink. The paper flashed, shrank and crumbled into the sink in grey flakes. The couple left without saying goodbye. Samara was left behind like a dream. Saratov greeted them with snow and silence. No one here knew their face. It was possible to start over there. Misha got a job as a loader in a warehouse. Natasha, in the pharmacy store, took the cash register. They got married quietly, without rings or toasts, just sitting at the regional registry office, where the walls were painted the color of the withered mint. Life went different, no code words, no radio, no plans. Only a children's room, a new kettle, crackling wallpaper from the battery heat. It was their first time feeling good. The pregnancy was coming to an end like a leisure spring. Natasha no longer ran or carried heavy objects. In the morning she loved to sit by the window for a long time, grabbing a cup of tea. The girl looked at the passersby and stroked her stomach. She now worked in the pharmacy only during the day. Cash register, vitamins, old people with recipes, simple conversations, simple requests. And one day, a simple, at first glance meeting, a young woman with bright green eyes. They start talking at the counter, first about creams and price, then about childbirth, the clinic and doctors. Come visit us sometime. There is a small restaurant on outskirts nearby. Natasha did not immediately agree. She got used to the silence, to the copy of Misha, home and the unborn child. But the woman insisted. They chose Friday evening. The sky was heavy, and Saratov spring was pretending to be autumn again. Rain, wind, and sickening slush. The restaurant with the dim sign was totally on the edge of the city, behind the car service center, among fields and wet asphalt. Red wallpaper with floral patterns, fireplace in the corner, crackling with electric sound. Just a few tables, only half of which were occupied. In the corner is a new friend with her husband. Grey hair danced with heavy hands. On the table, 2 lit candles illuminated their silhouettes. Dinner was simple: soup, bacon, meat, homemade pickles. The conversation flowed sluggishly but calmly. They talked about weather, children, illness, about how difficult it is to find a normal pediatrician. But something was wrong in this place. The few visitors left the restaurant one after another. It became less and less common to see waiters and other staff. At some point, the man straightened the blanket on his knee, said, addressing Natasha, "When the baby grows up, bring him to our." The phrase passed by the girl like a draft, but Misha froze. His gaze started towards the man. For a split second, nothing more, but that was enough. The look in response was firm, and in this look something sparkled, bestial, almost unrecognizable. Misha leaned back in his chair. It was warm, even stuffy, but inside his body was pierced by a thin cold current. Words about the zoo came from somewhere. From the very time that he burned in the sink, he wanted it and buried it. He had seen this before, a slight tremor of eyelash. There is a delay in breathing, as if the interlocutor is ready for a reaction in advance, and this fleeting predatory sparkle in the eyes. Even though he couldn't know, he seemed to recognize him. Natasha said something, answered, smiled. The red-haired girl nodded lively, poured into glass, and laughed with her noisy laughter. Everything was flowing as usual, if not for one thing. It was too quiet. There are no more footsteps outside the door, neither in the hall nor in the kitchen. It's dark outside, and even the old sign is no longer lit. He looked at the man again. He leaned back, rubbing his hands. "How long have you been here?" "We?" The man looked at him slightly sideways, the corners of his lips curled up. "All of my life, one might say. We are the roots. You can't see us until you pull us out. Misha tensed up, the palm on the knee involuntarily clenched into a fist. His head suddenly felt like it was being squeezed by invisible fingers. There is a pulse in the temples. Before the eyes, a thin glassy shine, like one while overheating. He reached for the glass and realized that his hand was trembling. The world tilted. It was as if the ceiling had lowered. A whisper or a ringing sound somewhere in the back of the head. He saw Natasha turn to him, and suddenly her face seemed to go into the fog. It was distorted, rounded. The glass fell out of the hand and smashed on the floor. Shards, crystal clear sound. He tried to get up, but his legs did not obey. Everything happened both slowly and too quickly. The last thing he heard was not Natasha's voice, not the rustle of the footsteps, and a heavy phrase said so casually. "Why did you come here, detective?" Misha tried to reach her hand, but his fingers passed through the air. She disappeared, and the darkness closed in. The sunset slowly crawled along the walls of the carriage, painting the metal to copper. Outside the window, as if in the circle, the forest ran, dark, thick, indifferent. The corridor of the empty compartment is as narrow as the neck of a bottle. The train went fast, but time inside of it stopped. "Look here, Mikhail. I'm very glad to see you. Extremely glad." The surprised look betrayed him faster than words could. There was an icy stab of fear in this joy. "So, did you also decide to take a ride through our beloved homeland? Going to visit someone? Oh, I came to visit you, Zoo." The calm and cold voice of the bear echoes across the carriage. There was a tense pause. The air between them stretched like a string. "Me? Oh." The old man's face suddenly darkened. There was no trace of his former good-natured smile. "You have been through too much to bear, Misha. I thought you died there at the table, because after all it was I who dragged your lifeless body into a dumpster with my own hands, you know? How in the world did you?" The old man's fingers clasped for a moment behind his back, and he took a slow breath. "However, don't think about it. In fact, I'm glad you are alive. No, really, I've been thinking a lot about it. I didn't mean a thing. But how nice it is to see you again now. Feels like a weight off my shoulders. Ho ho. But unfortunately, I'm a little too busy here right now. Work, you know. Won't you clear the way for the old man?" With a smile on his face and a tentative narrow gaze, Geezer cautiously took a step forward. But the bear didn't move an inch. No, the old man is not going anywhere. Something metal sparkled in the bear's hand with the rays of the evening sun. It's actually time for him to retire. The old man stumbled back and immediately the bear rushed at him. With a few sweeping steps, he caught up with Zoo and extended his hand with the knife forward. At that moment, the old man opened the compartment door and slid inside. A man in a suit tried to climb in after him, but was immediately hit in the chest. He flew onto the wall of the corridor and almost broke the glass. The old man ran to the table. He grabbed a glass mug with a cup holder and threw it at the enemy. Misha managed to dodge it, the mug crashing into the glass with a crash, finally breaking it. Zoo opened the window compartment and reached out to climb out, but the bear rushed forward, and with a lightning fast movement of his hand, he pressed the old man to the windowsill, holding a knife to his throat. "Where is she? Where is my wife?" There was a genuine fear in the old man's eyes. I don't know. A wife? What wife?" The blade pressed hard against the flabby throat, blood stained the metal. "Oh yes, exactly, wife, that bear with a bow. Well, how come I didn't guess right away? I remember. Put the knife away, buddy. I'll tell you everything. I know where she is." "She's there. Wait, where?" "Ah!" As soon as the bear was distracted, he immediately received a kick in the stomach and fell to the floor. At that same second, Zoo pulled himself outside the window and climbed up. Misha rushed after him. The train did not slow down. Power poles, fields, meadows, and forests rushed by. The wind was hitting their face. The sky so amber. The sun illuminated the roof of the carriage, where they stood opposite each other, sworn enemies. It was clear as day that the only last man standing will get out alive. "You know, I'll tell you where your wife is, if that's what you want. That same evening, she gave birth to a son, your beloved baby." Misha's heart seemed to stop from mentioning his only true soulmate in the whole world. He froze in place. "Do you want to know what we did to them? Alright then, we sold them. Sold them to the circus." The Zoo exposed his devilish grin. "Yes, bears are in demand there. They ride bicycles, you know. Your wife was pretty good at it. What she did worst was balance on the ball. What a shame, a year ago she fell from such a ball and twisted her neck." The bear almost rolled backwards from the shock. With a great effort, he regained balance and clenched his fists. With hatred in his eyes, he took a step forward, and another one, and another one. The wind blew him back, but the man did not retreat. The old man stood still, probably sticking out his chest. Well, hey, I'm sorry, working in a circus is a dangerous thing, you know. However, you know, your offspring ran away. Beasts like him grow quickly, aren't they? I didn't take this into account. Well, it's okay. I heard rumors that the kid will settle somewhere on the outskirts of Voronezh. So that's when I thought, should I visit him on the way? Patient ran out, the bear rushed forward with a battle cry. Lunge, a wave of the hand, Zul stepped back and avoided stab. The newspaper, Komsomolskaya Pravda, flew out from his underhand, and under her was wrapped a stun baton. The iron tip immediately pressed against the bear's chest. Crackling, an electric shock went through his entire body, not allowing a single muscle to move. The fire spread through the body, the knife fell out of his hand. Somehow the man managed to get out of the electric shackles. He bounced back and collapsed on his back. Haha, the old man towered above him, and was in no hurry to attack again. He really was a legendary fighter. Despite his age, Zhu has not lost his skill and wit. Asshole, why are you doing all this, huh? The old man didn't immediately understand what he was talking about, but saw all the anger in the opponent's gaze and immediately realized everything. A laugh involuntarily burst out of his mouth. He tore his shirt, muscles were released from her tight cover. The signature tattoo became clearly visible on the chest. King of the Zoo. Doing what? My job? I am the king of the zoo. Boy, well, I was doing all this while you were still shitting in your pants. Kidnapping animals, mud calling. It is in my blood. And what is most important is a profitable business. He placed special emphasis on the last phrase. He straightened up, looked up at his opponent diagonally and down. And I need the money. I want to buy myself a green card. Haha. Farewell, dirty Russia. Goodbye, ugly England. I'll finish the job, I'll take the briefcase, sell your fucking regret again, and we'll fly to America. Here it is, the land of opportunity. Misha was waiting for the right moment. With his right hand, he felt a new blade hidden in his bosom. Control yourself. He's just waiting for you to thoughtfully rush into the battle. The thought in my head held me back. Zhu turns back, almost like he got distracted. But then, the cocking of electricity once again. A lunge, the iron stick flies at the bear. He bends back and falls on his back. In flight, the blade grazed the old man's forearm. Not paying attention to the wound, the flyer rushed at the lying opponent. Crackling, roll, the baton hits the roof of the train. The bear almost flies down but manages to grab onto the roof. With all his strength out of breath, the old man rushed at him again. The enemy is balancing at the edge, he cannot miss this chance. The bear also understands everything and rushes towards him. Deftly dodges the blow and rolls over without getting up. He makes a circular kick. Zhu tries to jump but doesn't have enough time. He falls down and a shocker flies out of his hand. The bear grabs this chance and pins the offender to the ground. The mask of opportunity immediately falls off Zhu's face. The bear strikes. The old man covers his face with his hands. You're not going anywhere, fucker. This roof will be your grave. One of his eyes opened through his fingers. This devilish grimace on his face again. Really? Huh? Misha raises his head and sees a U-shaped power line structure approaching directly at him. He doesn't have time to react. A pole knocks him off the train. Ah, what a fool you are, Mikhail. Was it really worth the effort? Oh, slowly and carefully Zhu climbed inside through the window of the empty compartment. His whole body hurts, the wounds were bleeding. Putting the precious suitcase on his knee, he sat down in his sleeping place. Yes, I think I can already feel it, the smell of freedom. Oh, let me take a look at you, my The man opens the case and his eyes are wide as saucers. A happy life in the suburbs, his green ticket to the future. All this crumbles into thousands of fragments in his thoughts. The air brochures in the briefcase. Sharp pain, the old man grabs his heart. Oh my god, what the shit. The sports car was driving up the highway at full speed. Her driver was pushing the gas to the floor, chain smoking cigarette after cigarette. The wind blew sand into the cabin through the open window, and in the passenger seat, Masha was tied up, mumbling something. Ignoring this, Tops continued to tell her about his partner. Cash and I ran out while still a teenager, both thundering in lawlessness. They couldn't stand each other back then, but to survive there among the hyenas, they had to stick together. Not from friendship, from necessity. Together, the guys survived, grew up, fought, stole, and when the doors of the colony closed behind them, they did not part. The world outside was no kinder. They had to work for those who gave them shelter and money. This is how young criminals ended up in the Voronezh group. So far, they have worked properly for their boss, but not this time. This time the money will remain with us. Top tightened up his grip on the steering wheel. He understood that this money was slipping from them, but he didn't want to think about defeat. To Anapa, to Sochi, at least to Abkhazia. They will definitely find the case and disappear with it somewhere in the south, where there is sea, beach and parties, where it's warm all year round and the girls wear mini skirts. Suddenly a ringtone sounded from Top's pocket. With lightning speed, he took out his phone and accepted the call. Kesha? Kesha, is that you? He shouted impatiently into the phone. It's me. Where have you been, piece of shit? Why didn't you answer my calls? So many things happened. I caught up with this van. I caught her, do you hear? Only she denies everything. There was no money in the case. I didn't know what to do. You didn't answer. That's why I took the first flight to Voronezh. I found a car and I'm on my way to the train station. Hey, wait a minute. Tops was talking so fast that all the air in his lungs ran out. His partner stopped him, but instead of catching his breath, Tops took a long drag on his cigarette. Where is she now? Who? Van? Here, in the back seat. Tops, you're wrong. I couldn't answer your calls because I was drugged, and if the real conductor had not to come to check my papers now, I would still be sleeping. It seems that the real Miss Van is still on the train, and I can guess who she is. Tubes fell sharply silent, and even the gas pedal unpushed itself. He turned back and looked at his house with suspicion. Hey, but if Van is still on the train, then who is she? Wow, he drops her on the desert. Wow. Where does the desert even come from in Voronezh? The train was approaching the final stop. Knock knock. The passengers have been hammering to the toilet door again. A queue from outside. The Danish could already hear their dissatisfied muttering, but it was in no hurry to go out. He decided to wait here with his suitcase. The phone vibrated again. This time the manager couldn't stand it and still lifted him to his ear. Where have you gone, worm? Why does Olga Vladimirovna complain to me that you don't answer? What do you need the phone for, huh? The boy's voice was heard from the phone. He was fuming with rage and shouted something about the firing. Not so long ago, Danish would have died of fear and apologized, but now he felt nothing. He had a suitcase full of money with him, and this meant that he wouldn't have to work anymore. He will no longer have to humiliate himself in front of the superiors and sell doors to friends and acquaintances. Freedom. That's what Danish found on this train. I have no time for you now. Go to hell. What? What are you blathering now? Go to hell, you greedy Jew. You want to know where the suitcase is? I threw it out along the way. Run and pack it yourself, sick. Or how was your name? Dennis dropped the call. A warm shiver ran through his body. He couldn't help but laugh hysterically anymore. Imbeciles, how long will you stand there? Find yourselves another private room. I'm telling you, I have terrible diarrhea here. But there was no reply. The unexpected silence was Danny's answer, and it made him uneasy. Bang! Kick, shoulder ram. Kesha tried to break down the toilet door while moving so that he could not be shot from the inside. Al Punch fled to the carriage. Just recently, a line alerted the bandit. After asking people nearby, Kesha was convinced that Sue was hiding in this bathroom. He had a gun ready, but Kesha was in no hurry to use it. Open up, Sue. We both know you can take the price out. You'll leave in one piece, I promise, but of course you'll have to give back the case. A swarming sound was heard from inside. Someone there beat everything around with anger. Like hell I'm going to give it to you, asshole. This suitcase is my whole life. Lips stretched out in a smug grin. Kesha was not mistaken. He took out a gun and pointed it at the door. Suddenly someone's hand lay on top of the weapon. Young man, put it away. Holster before anyone sees it. Calm down, please. How about chamomile tea? The conductor appeared so suddenly that Kesha was taken by surprise. He recoiled but did not remove the gun, but pointed at the suspicious woman. You'll drink this tea yourself now, because she's Miss Van, or you'll get shot in the forehead. There was silence. Expectantly, Kesha stared at the conductor. The tense smile smoothly disappeared from her face. Well, no problem. I like chamomile tea. She brought the mug to her lips so naturally and fearlessly that Cash infiltrated doubt that the drink could have been poisoned. The gun in his hand trembled slightly. And at the very second, he was kicked out by the conductor. Hot water from the mug flew into Cash's face. He turned away and took a step back. Lunged forward, the woman took out something small from her bosom. A syringe. A syringe with no contents inside instantly found itself in the guy's torso. Immediately took out a newspaper from his trouser leg. It was immediately pierced by a sharp tip, but the syringe was kept a couple of millimeters away from the skin. Took the same newspaper, Kasia directed the conductor's hand to the side and made a grab. The woman's second hand immediately reached behind her back. Kasia did not expect the surprise. The woman's second hand immediately reached behind her back and proactively hit her in the head with his elbow. The woman rolled backwards, hitting the back of her head on the corner and passed out. The syringe fell out of her hand. Kasia picked up the gun from the floor and immediately heard a suspicious rustle outside the toilet door. There was no time to spare. With a well-aimed shot, it shot through the lock, and at the same time, the door suddenly opened inwards. Inside, a thin man in a shirt crawled through the window. Half of his body was already outside, but the end with the case was still inside. Fast-trained Samara Voronezh arrived, sounded somewhere far away. Kasia pointed a gun at the fugitive, then felt movement behind him. At the last moment, he moved his foot away and the conductor's new syringe hit the floor. The needle bent. He stared at the woman, screamed and rushed straight at the bandit. She tried to knock him down, but he stayed on his feet. Zul, darling, save yourself, I got him. Run to your dream. Forget about children, about me, fly to America. We're gonna make it here somehow, huh? The woman looked at the man outside the window and froze in stupor. You're not Zul. Kasia throws off the hysterical woman. She on herself falls down on her shin. He immediately punches his side at Danish, who was almost completely called out, and pulls the trigger. Shot. Danish pulls out his bag with all his might and manages to dodge the bullet. Bullets that fly straight into the case glass. The money is flying around and carried far, far away by the wind. Oh shit, really? No one is gonna get the money, is what it is. The long day was coming to an end. The sky had already turned dark with the coming night, but in the west it was still burning orange. Tops dragged his tired legs only by will. He was exhausted physically and mentally. Having reached the bench, the man plopped down on it entirely. At least he got to Voronezh railway station on time. There was still a few minutes left before the train arrived, which meant that the guy could get some rest for the first time today. As soon as he thought about it, the sound of yells came from the side. Tubbs looked up and saw a spectacular woman in a leopard print dress with a cleavage. Hello, young man. Sorry, but I couldn't pass by. You are such a handsome man. You know, I work as a manager, and for beautiful eyes, I would like to offer you a good discount. Would you like to buy yourself a new door? He's like, and he killed her because of that. He was like, fuck you. Meanwhile, the train is already stopping. Then he jumped down and fervently began collecting money. He stuffed everything with them, all pockets, stuffed them into a shirt and trousers, into the boots, growled and shot at few onlookers around. He attacked anyone who dared to approach his wealth. The money is flying away with the wind. He noticed a large number of bills in the grass and mud, and without hesitation rushed at them with his whole body. He grabbed everything into one pile, he took the money in his hands and was stunned. The cold barrel of the gun was placed at the end of his head. What a pig you are. Give back what doesn't belong to you, I'll shoot you on the spot. The bandit threatened Danish, but this was the last thing he cared about. With a crazy look, he dug into the bill and couldn't believe his eyes. Prop money. What? It wasn't even real. Mister, is this yours? Are you sleeping? The neighbor didn't care about such little things, he just turned until the outside sounded even louder. I wrapped myself in a blanket and literally flew up with the agility of a monkey, and I threw the case onto the man's bed. It was unbearably hot inside the Voronezh bus. In order to somehow cope with the stuffiness, all the windows and doors were open. Right in front of such a door, a sleepy Joe sat in his seat with a black case. Immediately after the train arrived, he boarded this bus and drove away. Joe's task today turned out to be even easier than usual, so out of boredom, he decided to take another little nap. Wait, that guy was Joe? Immediately the man was already snoring. Unbound, the suitcase in his hand jumped up and down. And at some point it just fell out. Monster of the farm flew out the open door. I'm going to die now. Covering her head from the outside, Masha walked a long dark way through the Voronezh desert. She held on with all her strength. She was very thirsty and in need of a rest, but there was not a soul around. Suddenly she heard the hum of the engine and she turned around in hope. Oh my god, she gets the money? A small nondescript bus was traveling along the road. Hey, I'm here, stop! The bus passed by. The girl ran after it in panic and suddenly she noticed something flying from inside the bus straight into her hands. It was the black case. Ah! No way, she threw it out. Hysterically she swung and threw it away. The case with the money flew up. Its metal glass glittered in the rays of the sun. The trajectory has changed. Now the suitcase with Grace was falling down and it landed in the water. A suitcase fell straight into the river and began slowly drown. It lid open and the money flew out. Like a school of fish, they swam off on whatever. After all, now they see themselves are free. No way, no one gets the money. Holy shit. Mister, are you okay? Huh? The sun! You... It's the sun! Oh my god. Holy shit. Very good, like, the story is very well done, the story. It's like, holy shit. Nobody gets the fucking money. Very cool. And the bear finds the son. The wife looks like dies because falling over the ball, but he finds the son. Holy shit. That was pretty cool. Very good. So basically, in the end, nobody gets the money. She dies in the end because selling the door to this guy and is out of it because he knew that it was him that was selling the door, so he basically kills her. She gets, because Tops thinks she as is the Miss Van, but she isn't, and then let her go on the desert. She gets the money case, but she throws out to the river. She's Miss Van. He's Mr. Zoo. This is the wife of the bear, of the detective Mikhail, and then there's the son. It's like, holy shit. Like, we don't know is what happens to us, right? Because we are seeing that the money is fake, that the money in there, because Joe trades the suitcase when he throws in that part to hide. But then we don't know what happens to us, to Danish, right? We don't know what happens after, if he gets killed or not. But yeah, like everyone was on the train, like Mr. Zoo and Miss Van, Mikhael, these guys, us, the Joe, everyone was in there to try to get the fucking money. It's like, god damn, and nobody gets the money because Joe, since he falls asleep, then the suitcase gets out when the van is passing through there. Like, well done, it's well done. So if you like, you know, visual novels, yeah, with a great story, and the soundtrack is very good too, you can buy the game on Steam. It's pretty cheap. I think it's close to €3 if I'm not mistaken. You're gonna have a good time with it. The story is well done. There's no loose ends, nothing like that. Everything is explained until the end. Of course, you don't know what happens to you, but it's like, okay, probably you get out and you have to go back to that work because the money was fake in that suitcase. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough of Death Train, Samara, Voronezh, and see you guys next time. Bye.